We're going to be live soon. Checking out this like new loading screen I made with Claude. Looks pretty cool. I kind of wanted to take a break, but then I kept coding, so I barely had like 5 minutes break today. I'm gonna make myself some tea, and then we're gonna get ready, and we're gonna finish the MCP archive semantic search MCP that I started yesterday until I was interrupted by the fire alarm here. So hopefully no fire alarm tonight. Hopefully just fire and cursor, and then we'll see. We'll see how far we get. Actually, the MCP is running, so it's mostly going to be about debugging, doing some like polishing, and then playing with like agents around it. So it's gonna be pretty fun. But let me make some tea. During that, you can like look at all these programs running. All right, here we go. Here we go. My tea's ready. My tea's ready. The system has booted. The natural language processing is active. The solve to solve AI is to understand mind. Let's go. All right. So where did we leave off yesterday? We were building a libgen MCP, like libgen, like a semantic search MCP, right? It can search for like it can search on archive, it can search on OpenAlex, it can search on Crossref. All sites I actually don't really know. Well, I mean, I know archive, but OpenAlex, all of those things I've never used, so I'm actually not sure. Um, I had Manus build the first version of this MCP, or at least build the command line tools to use it. And then I had O3 do some research on some like higher level tools we could use. And these tools use these underlying APIs, and the results that I get are not super great. So we will look into more closely into what we can do. And thankfully, there's command line verbs for all of these little tools. So what we did yesterday, we have archive, which is an archive search. And I hope that the window that I'm pointing to over here is not obscuring anything important, because it's kind of hard to find a good spot for this since the left part is taken, the left part is where AMP code is, the right part is where cursor is, and then the bottom is like where I write code or chat, like everything's a little bit full. Anyway, so we have archive, we have a citations verb, we have a crossref verb, we have a DOI verb. So we have verbs for all the different MCP tools, but also for the lower level APIs, right? And so what I'm going to do to start now is actually test them and make sure that they are each like kind of working okay, because I suspect some of them are not and are not returning any results. And I think this might be because of like query string construction. A lot of these things I actually don't know really much about. So the first thing we're going to do is like look at this archive code, since this is like an interesting thing about working with agents, right? Is that you actually don't, if you have an agent write like 2,000 lines of code for you, that's actually 2,000 lines of code that you don't really know, even if you can like understand the higher level structure or whatever. And in this case, it was like 5,000 lines of code, ultimately like 7,000. I'm not sure. Let's see how much we actually ended up with. So we have our command, app, scholarly. Those are all the command line tools. That's 2,000 lines of Go. And then we have our package scholarly. And that one is 3,000 lines of code. So we have like 5,000 lines of code in general that I've actually never really read. They work, they do stuff. I had them refactored to fit like some kind of framework, and I could like tell roughly while I was doing it that the framework was okay, but I actually don't know what it does. I know the intent of it, and that's like I think a really important part about working with agents or AI coding is the intent is pretty important, right? It's like ultimately, I want to achieve something with code, which is here, I do want to have an MCP tool so that when I do research about scientific papers, I get really high quality results without having to go to many websites, that I can say like, oh, download all the PDFs that are related to this topic that have been published from like 2000 to 2005, something like that. That's my intent. And that's kind of what I put in there, which is basically build me an MCP server using these sources so that I can research my papers. But at some point I have to go into the low level because it seems that it's not perfect, right? So if I go in here into my chat window, just make sure that the MCP is running. I have the scholarly MCP and currently has one tool because I deactivated the other ones that is called SearchWorks. And if I say search for Schmidt-Huber's papers in 2005, hopefully it will like call the tool. So it's calling the tool. It's doing like this query string, which I don't know if it even works, right? And so based on the result here is, all right, it's like a bunch of stuff. So maybe all of this is not too bad. I don't really know what this is. So it's also not the Schmidt-Huber that I kind of care about. So that's maybe something that's interesting, either in terms of the agent that we want to build, where we want to make sure that it is the right author. So this has no agent prompt, right? Like, it is a raw cursor with an MCP. And we can see here that it gave it some results, and then here it uses Crossref, which is also interesting. And this one also returned a bunch of stuff. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And so make a full list, right? So I guess it worked. It worked better than I thought it was working this morning. And it was also kind of able to based on the different tools that it was doing, I don't know if this is, you know, the right way to use OpenAlex. And I think the prompt that I have in SearchWorks, the prompt for the tool is not the greatest, right? And I don't know much about writing MCP tools, but I think that this is some very poor prompting here, because it needs to, I think, be much more extensive. And so what I don't fully know, I think this is like already problematic because archive uses a different query format than OpenAlex. But however, I do want to do like a single call to do all these sources. So I'm not fully sure how to do that, right? And it has here a set of filters, category isOS for archive, for OpenAlex, for Crossref. Okay, so that's interesting. And maybe I can use the MCP to debug it itself, right? It's like I've been doing these queries and then say, I want to test the different filters. Please make a list of searches for each source with different filter configurations and look at archive.go. Like we're going to tell it to look at the underlying implementations, right? To figure out what filters would be good. To find some interesting filters. Don't call the tool, just make a markdown block with the different settings. So we'll see. Like it seems that all three of those returned results. And I think in the prompt here, I'm going to add examples. I'm going to flesh this basically out to have a good tool calling prompt. And I don't know much about it. So we'll see. We'll probably look at some resources out there as well. So these are some pretty interesting queries, and I put them here so that I can reuse them, right? All right, so that's good. We have command line tool for Scholarly that you can run with go run command apps Scholarly. Run it for help. Then write a full document ttemp. So this is my standard technique of creating document that are what I want to do. How to exercise the semantic search functionality. Functionality of Scholarly, which details a detailed plan to test the different filters and sources using both the MCP tool call and the command line tools. It should explain which configuration was used for which reason and reference files and source code. Because I do want to make this really exhaustive, right? So I'm going to switch to 3.7 Sonnet because why not? Maybe it's going to be a little bit more aggressive about it. And I'm it's pretty nice. I'm new to this like MCP tool development, right? Like I've never really built agents. I've never really built tool calling things. But it's really interesting to be developing an environment that is actually also running this tool. That's nothing new, right? Because you can do exactly what I'm doing here. But it is also somewhat new to me that I can, within a chat, like start to run queries and do all of these things. I realize here also that like my fields are not nicely separated. So that's going to be maybe a little bit confusing on the tool, and maybe a way that I can fix that. So this is my own framework that I use to do command line applications. Is that I go into these tools and then I register them. And here we do have Cobra options, right? And the Cobra parser options is I want to have the short help layer be default. So what I'm going to do is with short help layers, And we're going to use the short help layers, and we're going to just use the default slug. There we go. And if I'm right, this should be making our strings much more readable. So if we do open a terminal and we go in there, we should be able to, what was the tool that I just edited? Archive, right? So if I run this, I will have an archive verb. And then if I run archive, it actually didn't work the way I intended it to. So I think the issue with that is I do need to register a bunch of things in here. And I'm just going to steal them from another file, mcp.main.go, because we do need to run the root command, which is init logging from Viper. So we're going to carry that over, and then command.execute. The root command is here. It actually has all this logging stuff here. So all right. And then we're going to import the logging, and then there's another little thing that we need to do, which is set up the help system. So we're going to set up the help system here. We have no documentation to add, and we're going to add init Viper as well. So going back to execute over here, just going to set up the help system. We're going to not add any documentation. We're going to initialize Viper. Come on. No, please don't fix it. All right, well, fix it. That was an expensive fix. We're going to import clay. No, what the fuck? Well, it doesn't let us import it. Tab completion knows what's up though, which is not the right thing. This is how it gets imported. My package imports are not good. That's why I'm like really struggling with this kind of like package imports. And it's actually really important because that like has the potential to really kill your Vibe code short, right? It's like if you have inconsistent package names, inconsistent imports, that can very quickly lead to a lot of linting errors that will confuse the model based on how your agent is set up. And that is really important to take care of. And obviously don't listen to me and what I say because I am not doing it right. So now we have the short help, right? And you see we have color in the output. That allows me to have a very simplistic kind of flag, which is important because then the LLM doesn't get confused by all the other flags, which are to actually do a structured output. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to start a new chat, and I'm going to say in scholarly command. Is there like the directory? In scholarly command, make sure that each verb is registered with default slug as the short help, like in archive.go. So let's go fix this part. And in the meantime, we're going to wait because we do actually want to have this like shorter help come out. It could be also that this is going to time out the streaming tool call probably. I don't know if Sonnet does streaming tool calls. I think it does. I hope it's not going to do too many. We'll see. And after that, I hope that I'm going to have a shell script or some way of basically exercising my command line tools and refine them and start figuring out which flags to give to what. And once I have which flags to give to what, I'm going to use an LLM to create a pretty extensive prompt for the tool calling so that I can experiment with like how important it is to have the right name in the tool calls when I do when I use them in like a chat context, right? So all the necessary files have been updated, so I don't trust you. We're going to see how many verbs we have. So for I in arc, fuck this. Cut, what is this, D1015? C115. Did I output something? 6? Yeah, all right. So, yeah. Paste anyway. So now we should have all the verbs in test.txt. So we can do test.txt while read I do go run command apps scholarly I done. All right, they're all structured, huh? Search doesn't have, oh, I guess it does need query. It doesn't have any flags. Wait, what? ID is not set, required flag ID for, I'm not fully sure what this is about. So, wait, why doesn't it allow me to do a read? Oh, because it's from stdn. All right, anyway, it looks like everything has like color formatting, so that's good. And then some of them are missing some flags, but so we will deal with that later. Scholarly search. All right, cool. There's some global flags. And all right, so it's going to write this document for us now. And then we're going to use this document to dig deeper. And for each, we're also going to write a section for each of these underlying APIs, right? So this is something we can actually do over here is like write a detailed document ttemp 2950902. How do the underlying scientific research clients work.md that writes detailed that for each API writes a detailed listing of the supported queries and query arguments based on the clients that can be found in Scholarly under the package, however, this time, right? And then I will augment that with web searches and potentially just do like a research in O3 or deep research because I actually don't know these APIs. They don't have like necessarily the best specs, or they're not the best specs that an LLM can use potentially. And that's kind of what I want to dig into, right? It's like once this document is ready, I'm going to paste it into deep research and I'm going to say like, oh, please augment this with like a detailed research on the APIs themselves. So in the meantime, we have our first testing document, which is called like how to exercise the semantic search functionality of Scholarly. I do name my documents very long names like this because then a single ls will tell the model what the documents are about. So it just saves on tool calls, and also it's just like it saves on prompting as well. Like when you write a file that's called that it will create a file that has that title, and then this whole thing is going to influence what's inside. Whereas if I say like, oh, do a plan MD, it will like maybe be all with like bullet points and I don't know. So we do have the archive source, which has a bunch of like filters. So maybe we do want to have a layer, right, that translates between these different filters so that when we do a query, we don't even have to like use, say, oh, use OpenAlex or use archive or use Crossref. We can just like port the queries to each other. So I'm not sure. It could also be that it's like better to give the model flexibility and say like, oh yeah, like the archive search is this, and then the OpenAlex search is this. So depending on the the structure of all of this, we might, for example, want to reorganize the way the search tool works, which is giving it three arguments. One is the archive search, one is the OpenAlex search, and one is the Crossref search, because we kind of know we want the same every time. Like every time we call it, we just want to do like three searches, even if they're optional. That way, that will give the MCP tool like flexibility. If I say search archive, it will only do one query. So I'm not very experienced with tool calls, and we'll do, once we have something that's like semi-interesting, we're going to start using a lot of different models and see how that goes. And maybe I shouldn't do it in Cursor, right? Like maybe I should start writing some scripts to do it. But knowing my success with showing my credentials on stream, I'm not going to do it today, because I would have to set up like 15 APIs, and maybe I should use OpenRouter. That's maybe what I should do. So anyway, we have this document now that is going to like explain how these different queries work, and the API endpoint that I want to dig deeper into is planned API endpoints. Currently, this is not what we want. We're going to implement these later on. I commented them out because I wanted to focus on Crossref, archive, and the other one. And SearchWorks is like not what we want. So however, the what is interesting is this like response structure, right? Is like the work. So I don't know if all the APIs return the same kind of work. But the base endpoint is also, so amend this document by also showing the archive, Crossref, OpenAlex functions and their Go signature, and explain how the Go signature is then transformed to the actual API call, right? And I will use this document. Like there's a plan forming in my head that I want an intermediate language for formulating queries, and then leveraging that common query language to transpile these things to the different APIs for search. So we'll see how well that goes. We'll see. I guess I'm a little bit quiet tonight. Am I not? Yeah, this is better. Sorry about that. Whoever, if someone's watching, I think the volume button just like got scrolled as I was preparing my desk. All right. So it still thinks we're doing SearchWorks, right? So that's why it puts SearchWorks in here. But we do, however, have the common search params. So I don't know what the common search params are. So we're going to add it to explain that. And then explain common search params. And then we're going to look a little bit more closely at this. Yeah, so the filter is a mapping of strings, and I do want to consolidate that a little bit so that there's not strings everywhere, so that there's something a little bit more strict. And hopefully that's also a schema that we can like properly give to the LLM, probably with a lot of examples to just make it more robust. The other thing we have, and that I'm not sure if those are broken, I think, like a fair amount of them are broken, which are these like more specialized tools like DOI, for example. So DOI allows you to get a resource about a DOI apps scholarly, sorry. And it doesn't have, oh, this is the name that it used to have before. So it allows you to look up DOI information, right? So it could be that if I recompile and add the DOI tool, that would already work. Excuse me. So the searchworks requests is search params. So search params is a simple query, and then the filter handles specially by each client. So that is interesting, right? It's if we go look at the code now, is there something like common models, search params? The filters are a map. So I kind of want to have this over here. No, oops. And the list of filters that are available is like for each client, make a section about the supported filters. All API responses are converted to the standardized search result type, so that's cool. So let's see. Let's see what it added. Did it add anything? Yo, can you apply? Why is it not applying? Did it apply something? Because we should have tables now, but it hasn't applied the tables, huh? Oh no, it did. All right, so at the bottom, this is starting to be a little bit a mess of a document. Common data transformation flow. So archive client has category author title, uses the Atom feed format, provides full abstracts and PDF links. All right, cool. The crossref, raw crossref filter query string, time the filter. And so I'm going to augment this, and I'm actually going to, I will maybe go and take the source specific query parameters, detailed filter support by client, and I will say, oh, expand this with all kinds of filters that are existing, right? Like type, journal, article. From publication date, we already have. So those are just repeated. And then here for the filter stuff, we also, like, I don't fully like this. So it's not that I want to support everything, because that's also not a good pattern, right? But like in the underlying client, I actually do want to support as much as possible, and then make a decision into how to transform this into this high level tool, which is just called Searchworks, and expand that search on all underlying things. So for each source API, actually expand the list of filters to cover everything these APIs provide, looking for them online. I don't know if I need to turn on search when I use O3, because it will like do search on its own. But we'll see what comes out here, right? And then what we also saw is that the DOI tool seemed to have been working. So I'm going to re-enable the DOI tool, resolve DOI. And then we can look at the metrics tool, for example, which I think this one wasn't working. So the metrics tool, I can give it like a DOI, and then we can see what happens. What am I doing? When I call it, if it actually returns any kind of result. So work not found in OpenAlex, and then if I do a log level debug, I do get something a little bit more interesting, and it does return stuff in here, right? It's just not able to parse it. Or is it like, yeah, so it does return stuff, right? And so what I can do now while our research is running, currently we've only built like 2 documents, is I can go over there and go into my metrics, open my metrics tool, right? This is probably not parsing the data correctly from OpenAlex, because now in here it has the response, the query and the response string. And because I want to learn a little bit more about the code base, I'm turning on Gemini because I like its thinking traces. And we're also going to go just like link the OpenAlex client Go file. And then we'll see this thinking trace that's going to come out is actually what I'm interested in reading, because it will look at the web, and then it will do its thinking traces. And is there any thinking traces? Actually, it doesn't think very hard, huh? The OpenAlex documentation, get a single work and get filter works indicates that retrieve a work by DOI. You should use the DOI directly as the identifier in the path. So this gets the works, and then it should retrieve the metrics, builds the query, requires the query, turns it back. The search method in client.go uses API param add search when param query is not empty. It seems the issue lies in how the param query is being constructed before being passed to the search methods. In get metrics, not provided but inferred, likely lies a calls reserves to the work ID to an OpenAlex work, but it does return a work, right? Except this wasn't the right DOI that we queried. We gave it this guy here, it requesting work from this DOI, then it requests the query here and says query is equal to DOI this, and it doesn't seem to work. So for the DI lookup, it should be either interesting. Filter, the first log line shows param's query was set to the whole thing. Is that true? If we look at the query here, yeah, but then it does works search and not filter, I guess. Yeah, so this is not recognized. The get work function needs to be adjusted. If work ID is a DOI, it should use the filter DOI value approach or direct DOI URL. Let's assume that there's a function get work by DOI or similar that uses the search client method. If metrics work ID is a DOI, the part of the code that calls needs to be adjusted. It's likely that get metrics calls another function. Well, you can see here what functions it calls, right? Like, are you not able to read the file? So it hasn't read the file, which is weird, right? I don't fully trust all of this because it's keep telling me that it doesn't know the functions. Not provided, but inferred from metrics go. Likely calls a function to resolve the work ID. And the get metrics request is being called indeed in here. And the get metrics request is going to be a work ID. So I don't know, work ID, should this be the DOI? So I'm gonna link it up to the second query is works per page search. This looks like a fallback, different part of the logic. The ID should be an OpenAlex ID. When the work ID identifies the DOI and the search parameters. So this is a lot of thinking, and I'm not going to read it on stream. But what I'm going to do is, because this is, I don't actually know the API, right? Oh, this is really nice. It like really links to different lines and all of this. Your OpenAlex ID. So what I'm going to do, write a document ttemp 250509 OpenAlex API for and IDs.md that explains the different OpenAlex APIs we could use and digs deeper into what a work ID and an OpenAlex ID and a DOI is and when to use them. Furthermore, add a OpenAlex API IDs and metrics. Add a section about getting metrics. This did a web search, didn't it? Yeah, interesting. So this is pretty cool because it does give us a pretty good grounding into what is correct or not. Because otherwise, you have to, if this wasn't web grounded, I'd be like, yeah, this is wrong. This is hallucinated. There's no way it knows that much about it. But because this is in the context window now, I can be pretty sure that it's grounded. It rewrites the document twice, which is always fun and like eats a lot of tokens. That's like kind of the downside of using a thinking model to do your stuff, is like you burn through tokens really fast. But then you do get all of these yappy tokens down here, which are pretty interesting to follow as a human. Oh, I'm sorry. So now it's just copying the data again for a very expensive copy paste here. All right, what is our A3 doing here? So the archive API complete search query prefixes, that's cool because we can use that, right? Subject category, journal reference, comment, abstract, author list. Submission date is as well. Other useful things is like booleans, grouping, parentheses, phrase, search term. So that is all pretty cool. And this is something we can put into our prompt, right? Into our tool prompt later on to teach the LLM how to use this tool. The Crossref API accepts the richest set, which has all of these. Holy shit. And then the Works API, and then the authors using the tables in Go, TypeScript client, or whatever. So create a nice query DSL in Golang that covers the most important common subset of all these parameters to expose as a unified search tool, right? Oh, this thing's got to go all out because it tells us I'll need to define Go structs and a query builder and all of that. So maybe that's worth it, right? Like maybe we'll leverage the fact that because I said Golang, it's going to write a lot of Golang, and we'll just roll with it, which is a really important thing I think that many more experienced software developers are missing, is that going with whatever the models give you often has a pretty good chance of succeeding, while like starting to, at some point I'll refactor that stuff when I know more about the whole system. But while I'm just building the system together, I'll go with the flow, and I'll actually, even if I see, oh, this is starting to get like into a big ball of mud, as long as I think I can still push it a little bit or just like add more on the side, that's good. Because after that, what I can do, once I have identified the different pieces of code that I want and they're like semi-good working, and maybe the whole thing is a complete ball of mess, and that's actually hard to clean up with an LLM, right? It's like you have all this code, it's like confusing, there's things called the same thing, whatever. What I do in this point, instead of spending like 2 days to clean it up, or 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever, is I will isolate the good parts and I will create a document for it. And from the document, I can create a clean architecture, right? Like basically start from scratch, except that the hard parts or the functionality parts that I want, I will give it the clean architecture. And then I'll say like, look at this big mess of shit that we just generated, and actually use that, figure out the usable parts and port them over to this new architecture. So it's, instead of assuming that what has been written is worth saving as terms of code, I'll move it into a completely different directory, and then I'll just start something from scratch on the side, but I'll fill it, I'll take all the meat from the other one and I'll put it onto this new construct. And because I can revibe the thing with a good architecture, right? Like vibe code. I can vibe code my way to a good architecture, and the tricky parts that it might not be able to get, or like which arguments to use and which structs to fill, all of those I've been able to figure out in my first pass. And so instead of spending like 3, 4, 5 hours cleaning up something that has been generated, I'll spend an hour building a second one, except the second one is actually going to be working at that point, right? So that's something I do pretty often. And so this query DSL, maybe it's garbage, right? Like I don't fully know yet, but I'll go with it. I'll be like, sure, why not? I'm not going to look too closely at it. I'm just going to try, because this thing knows more than me. If I want to learn more about it, then I'm not going to read the code per se. I'm just going to start asking questions. I'm just going to see how it behaves in the real world, right? And so what I'll do here, I'll take this document and I'll put it into, again, you can see how much I leverage this folder with my temporary files, right? Is here I'm going to put the 04, which is going to be common scientific literature research DSL golang.md, and I'm going to paste this in here. Maybe I'll even add a little link to my ChatGPT comment, to my ChatGPT conversation, so I can see where it's coming from, and then keep that. And so I'm already out of the code that I already generated that I know is kind of jank, because it's not working, right? Like it gives us this. This is some useful output. This is some useful output. The structs are some useful output. So I'm basically like taking them as clay and just transforming them. But in my head, I'm like, I don't care about this code. I'll probably delete it, right? It's like, it's kind of working. I spent a bunch of time building it, but also I don't care about it because I am actually refining a little bit my knowledge, or if not my knowledge, I'm refining documents that are pretty nice to do all of this, right? And I also want to learn things, and I'm not going to learn things on stream because I need to talk at the same time. And usually I like printing this out and reading over them at the coffee shop, right? So I don't even know what OpenAlex is. It just came up with it yesterday as I was saying, like, I want a scientific literature thing. I didn't know OpenAlex, so now I know about OpenAlex, which is another reason to go with the flow, is that otherwise, if I think I already know what I want, I will close myself off to what the LLM can actually offer me. The LLM knows way more than me. It's been trained on all these things. Maybe it doesn't understand them, right? Because it's a pile of floats. But there's a lot for me to be gained from learning. And then especially once you use O3, for example, it will actually search the web. So it actually does know more than me at the moment, or it searches the web and it just reads, right? Like I'm doing this anthropomorphization, but it's like, I think that's a totally valid way of dealing with complexity, and something we've always done. Like we say, the compiler did this, the compiler did that. Like, no, there's no compiler. There's just like the CPU executing code. But those concept and assigning them intent, assigning them like behavior, is the way for us to understand what we're dealing with and all these complexities. So unabashedly, I'm okay with anthropomorphization. I'm reading a lot about that stuff, and I'll go over that in another stream. So we can get a single work, and there's a couple of IDs. It's entities, work. This is OpenAlex. It's kind of like a graph thingy, right? Knowledge graph. You can get a single work by the OpenAlex ID, by DOI, by PubMed ID, okay, by MAG ID. There's a couple of endpoints. Key parameters is going to be a search for keyword-based search. There's a filter for different filters. So for example, by DOI, which is the thing we were looking at, by publication year, by all of these. And now we researched in this other research that we did, right? Like we have this common language that we devised. So this is the other one that's going to be interesting, is that here in the query, we have free text of phrase. We have author, title, category, work type, from year, to year, open access, and sort. And the sort order is defined here by irrelevance newest. I wonder if there's a way to have an enum for the category, for the work type. And then for the categories, right, like to archive has the categories, and then to the filters doesn't really have the different parts here. And then to open Alex, filter, range filter. All right, so this is a pretty good start. And so instead of modifying our current search functionality, right, like I'm going to do something different, which is since we already have an API for these different clients, what I can do is start saying like, okay, well, can we use this query DSL to actually map to the existing clients that we have? Or what is missing? Can we implement 04 Common Scientific Literature Research with the clients we already have in archive and Crossref and open Alex? And we're not doing libgen, but let's leave libgen aside for now. Read the necessary files and start comparing things. So, and however, I'm going to use Sonnet 3.5 for now because I'm just interested in filling the window. I don't want it to create stuff, so I hope Sonnet is not going to start writing code. I don't think it will. 3.7 for sure would have started writing code, but I think Sonnet's just going to like output stuff. And oh no, it did write code, but that's fine because I know it will copy the query DSL.go, which is which I wanted. And what I will do after this is that I will actually switch to Gemini and now have it like think hard about what parts are missing of each client to actually implement what we have in the query DSL document. So I'm using this like two-shot approach, which I quite like, which is using Sonnet 3.5 or GPT-4o to fill the context window, maybe do some like preliminary work, then switch to one of the thinking models to actually start doing this like more intense merging of different parts. And we'll see where we get with all of that. So I'm being pretty systematic here, right? Like it's I don't have actually like a scientific research to really do. So I really want to have like a nice MCP server, and also I just want to like expand my knowledge of these different APIs and also my knowledge of programming with LLM. So now we have enough context here. I'm going to switch to Gemini 2.5 Pro XP03, or should I use Sonnet? Like it'd be interesting to use, I'm going to use Gemini first. And it's like now think very hard about which functionality we need to add to our current clients to actually support this multi-subset DSL. Don't write any code, but write a full report in. And so here again, I don't want to have the output in my chat. I'm going directly to leverage the fact that I can store it into a document and reuse later on. So which functionality does need to be added to our clients to implement the query DSL.md? And here I actually typed it all twice. Normally I would have used the file name. I just didn't think of it right now. The only annoying thing about this is that we won't be able to see the document as it gets written in the tool call. So, which is a little bit annoying. So, but here you can see the thinking trace is pretty good because it will like recap and it will do this like very structured thinking about what needs to be done. It's like kind of looking into the brain of a good like structured thinker. And I really enjoy that. Because you'll be able to see like, oh, current search method takes these params, which takes this, the filters not directly used, missing needs adjustment, the sort order, which can be ported to the archive. The toArchive method correctly handles text author, all of these. I don't actually, this is missing a lot of stuff, huh? So I wonder if this is, I'm gonna reuse this to, I thought it would actually copy our first search, but it didn't. So this is actually an important part of the whole thing, which I forgot to copy paste. So I'm gonna make a new document file. It's gonna be 06 API comparisons.md. And I will have it like think more about this, but it's already doing like a lot here. So maybe I will ask it to verify what it all did. So now it's writing its document, and I'll do a follow-up and I say like, yeah, by the way, here's like 06 API comparisons. How does that fit with all the stuff you've been thinking about? And that's going to be our last inference in this chat. I always think of these as like, not as a conversation, but as like a multi-step building up of a context window. And that's why I often think of things as like one-shotting. Is like basically I want to have a context window that allows me to get the stuff that I want. So it's not like, oh, I want a conversation, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. It's like, no, I'm going to build a context window that allows me to do the task in one go. And I think that's like a significant shift from how to think. And it like didn't create it because it's like Gemini. It's like fucking annoying. I'm going to switch to Max. And I'm going to say, write the document. It's annoying because I'm sure there's like hidden tokens here. I don't know. I can't prove it. Who knows? And also probably the document is already pretty full here. If I was not on stream, I would legit just like take my time and go through this. If I were to do that, I wouldn't be able to talk and it would be less interesting. So here I'm vibing my way through it. I don't know what I'm doing. Just going to assume that all of this stuff is like nice. So hopefully this is actually working and we'll see. I have other experiments that I would like to do with like M code, but also I'm like pretty advanced at this point, and I feel that there's plenty of subtlety that I don't want to like completely give hands off to an agent. And because I don't know the domain, even if I generate a plan for the agent, I'm like not sure that the plan actually makes sense. So, however, what I'm doing here is I'm going through this query DSL, right, which I was able to assess makes kind of sense. It's a very simple thing. And that's, I think, a pretty good target for our top-level tool. So the MCP tool is going to use this query DSL, which is going to hit the different end APIs, and then we're going to do a merge based on DOIs. And later on, we can probably add like some re-ranking. But that's like pretty advanced that we're definitely not going to get there tonight. And just like basically turn this into a really, really good tool to get good results. Hopefully we'll get there. Like, I don't know, because there's so many, just doing a couple of searches, I'm like, there's so many different like ways of just returning. There's so many papers that it's so easy to just get results that make no sense. So the current client primarily uses params query for the search query and params max result. This supports the sort. This suppose a query DSL query to archive does not translate into these archive specific sort parameters. Action needed, modify to archive to append sort parameters to the query based on QSort. Sort relevance category correctly adds this, correctly adds that, correctly adds all of it. The Crossref client. So now we're going to add like, does this actually match 06 API, which is another investigation into the supported filters for each endpoint. Just to cross-verify against what O3 gave us. So I have many, many different points of entry with information, some of it being pretty jank, which is my source code. others being like researchers that we did in Cursor, others being like fragments that we got from OpenAI o3. And it's kind of a mess, right? Like it's too much information to really make sense. We have 15 documents that might or might not contain good stuff. I forgot. I kind of know in which order I created them, right? But like I still, that's why I number them. Because otherwise you have like a big pile of, you don't even know in which order they were created. So right now, as said, if I really wanted to put some effort into this, which I actually kind of want, I would go over this and I would print it out and I would use a pen because I like annotating things with pens. That's why there's like behind the screen, there's like all my printed out papers and other documents and all of that. And this thought trace actually looks like something I would print out, right? Like it's annoying that I can't like copy paste all of it. So if I really wanted to get this, I would probably OCR it out or something like that. So if we go to the past the thinking stream and then we go here, you write across very size is very blah, 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 blah. Yep. Overall alignment largely matches and well supported. Provider specific analysis, sorting, other fields, open access, Crossref. So conclusion, yes, match. The proposed modifications are based on how the DSL currently translates queries, are largely in line. The only nuance point is the author search filter for OpenAlex works. The DSL uses it in the client mod report, assuming it's used. The API comparisons docs doesn't explicitly list author search as a primary convenience filter, although it might still function. This isn't a flaw in the client mod report, but rather a point. Overall, the plan adapts to client pretty well. Okay, cool. And we are at 40,000 tokens, actually way less than I thought it would be. So now that we have all these fields, we haven't written any code yet, right? Like just to remind you, we haven't written any code. Oh, we did write some code. What's the code we wrote? Oh yeah, we just like added this like help method kind of stuff, right? And then I cleaned things up over here. This is stuff that I did before. I think this is stuff that I did before and I didn't commit. All right, let's commit all of it. Git add pkg. It added the query DSL. That's right. We did write some code. So add documents and query DSL. The more I vibe code, the messier my commit get because I don't write the code. So we do have a bunch of linting errors, which we'll fix later on. And what we're going to do now is like, okay, implement this, right? To properly compile the DSL down. And now we're hopefully going to have a query DSL that works. So I'm going to create a verb for it that's basically allow me to run this on the command line. And once I am satisfied with the results there, and we'll probably modify this verb to do re-ranking, to do deduping on DOIs, because I do want to hit the different APIs in a row. So we'll see what comes out. This is the annoying thing about these models is that I don't see the streaming of the changes that they're doing. So yeah. And also I don't know what it's going to add. Like, I don't know if I want to start a new one, but let's be adventurous. Let's be adventurous and let's go use Claude 47 Sonnet and it's like build a DSL verb in command apps scholarly larly. Why can't I hate this. Like, I want to link a directory. I can link, see, command F scholarly, like search works, search.go. That, however, uses the query DSL.go to run the proper query C05. Only write the verb and a corresponding backend functionality that actually runs the query by compiling against all three clients and merging the results and deduping on DOI. And actually, before I started, let me finish this guy here. Oh man, it didn't build it. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm going to try something else, which is I'm going to go to AmpCode and I'm just going to go do this. And I guess 05, which functionality, query dsl.go. What else do we have? See also 06. Yeah, let's just see what AmpCode does, because I'm always like a little bit amazed by this thing. But it is expensive. I think it just like burns through a lot of credits. So we'll see. So it's using a sub inference thing, I think. I wonder if this is how much this is costing me. Is this 10 cents or is this 40 cents? It's funny that SourceGraph doesn't use like their clever code index or whatever. They just like use ripgrep and stuff, which might make sense because you more easily get context and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know. To me, it seems that like semantic search is just like a tool that's too good to pass over to say like, where is this defined? And obviously you want to grep when you have no idea of where the types are and all of that. But what is the values thing here? Query to archive? What is it doing this like twice? Oh, it's doing crossref? No, it's doing something. Oh, okay. It's two different things. All right. So it is modifying the clients. Oh, because Gemini didn't do it, right? So did it actually create a search verb? Package scholarly search. Oh, that's actually SearchWorks. So it's actually already building the thing here. All right, cool. And then SearchWorks here has the query DSL query, which got modified. That's interesting. And this all got simplified. All right, cool. So update search.go in the CLI to leverage the new DSL. And what AmpCode is always pretty good at doing is like basically just fixing that kind of stuff. It's also running Golang CI lint, which is funny. But it's not fixing the lints. Or it's not fixing all of them. Total output tokens 87. That's like kind of Interesting. What is it doing over here? Oh, it's adding all the new query DSL parameters. Did I tell it to dedupe? No, I just said like implement this functionality, huh? Oh, the joys of vibe coding, which is like vibe waiting. Let me let me post that. That's a funny one. All right. Find a work struct definition. Gonna let it do its thing. All right. Well, while I was like talking about re-ranking. I want to use Cohere re-ranking to sort through the results of my. I want to use a re-ranker. Actually, I don't even want to. I want to use a re-ranker to sort through the results of my scientific literature search to remove results that are either duplicates or are not related to the input query. So the stupid thing with the MCP call, but actually that's something we could add to the MCP call as well, which is in Scholarly. For each MCP tool, add a parameter called original query, which is the human language query that encodes, which is the original query intent, which is the human language intent that the user that caused this tool to be called and why. I don't know. It's horrible. Horrible writing. Can we use that? Yeah. Only add it to the JSON schema. All right. Why is the thinking mode enabled? What are my options? How would it work? I don't think anymore. I'm just delegating it all to O3. So while it's doing this, this is running the build and everything builds properly. So now we're going to try it out. So we're going to do apps, Scholarly, search. And then the search is author Schmidt-Huber from year 2005. No results found. API URL, export, encoding, open search results. So it should search across all three APIs, right? And then this. This is kind of like not great, I think. Because if we just remove, say, oh my God, this is unreadable, huh? If we just do the author Schmidt-Huber, you don't get anything either. Search query, max results. Search query, author, Schmidt-Huber. Examples of export.archive.org. Search query all electron. All right, so that worked. So what are the fields? About the archive, hosted, quick start, using the archive API. Is this, okay. User's manual, calling the query interface. Search query is the string, comma, delimited. Search query is either all, feed metadata. Well, does it tell me like which search query? It's like, does it say something about author? Author. So that works. Interesting. Why is the Schmidt-Huber not working? All right, so that worked. Then is it because of the uppercase? No, so that worked. So what is going on? What's wrong here? Is it because it's putting quotes around it? What is 22? Decimal 22. Synchronous idle. What? Oh no, it's the quotes. Okay. So that's one. Because yeah, if we put quotes around it, then it won't. It will. Why is this not returning anything over here then? Why is this not working? It is working. Okay. So it's the other parts that are not. Man, I can't read this shit. How do I do URL decode? No, is there like a command line tool? Okay, so this didn't work, right? Curl bad range and in URL position 99. Submitted date. And if I remove the submitted date, or say from 2025 to 2005, that also doesn't work. That also doesn't work. So the submitted date and the quotes are not good. Submitted date. Yeah, no, it is correct, isn't it? So if I remove the submitted date, what are the results I get? From when is this? Physics, 2002. Comment, ling ref term. Why is there no date? If I do 2002, like what the fuck, 1999, 1990. It's because they have no record at all? Or do I need to have this full syntax here? No. Interesting. Interesting. So author, advanced search, Schmidt, Hoover, author, add another term, and submitted date. Oh, it doesn't have that? No, there it is. From 2001 to 2025, search. Has date to, date from. Interesting. So I guess the date range is not really working very well. But it was for another author, right? Because, so what was the other author that worked well? It was this one here. And so maybe this one has like metadata about the date range. Yo. So why can't I like open it? Cat downloads query 7.atom, query 8.atom. That returns stuff, right? So it looks like the URL is like the square brackets is something weird that I have to deal with here. Curl. Is that like a curl thing? I think it might be a curl thing, actually. Interesting. So if I here go and do Schmidt Hoover, that worked. Okay, so I do need to update this, right? So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say update archive.go. Maybe I'll put it in here. Update archive.go to create URLs like this. Note the missing around IO. Probably need the same for the other parameters. How is space encoded in here? Quantum criticality. So here, so far we've only, so let me add this as a document as well. Right? How do I copy paste this? Why wasn't I able to copy paste it? Normally there's like a clipboard version here. Maybe it's all the way at the bottom. No, I guess you can do this. All right, so go back to our documentation folder. We're gonna do new file 07 archive API description. And you know, like looking at all of this, this is what I should have done first, is just like go search for good API stuff, which, you know, is obvious, but when you vibe, you vibe. And that's how things go. All right. You vibe, and then you realize that you shouldn't have vibed. So, oh well. Oops. Let's ban some people here. And so the other thing that was interesting with the search, right, is like it only hit archive. when we ran our tool. And oh, it's already fixed. So we're gonna be curious about that. No results found. Why, dude? Why? I think I have concise. Yeah. This is so weird, man. This is all so weird. Why doesn't this work? No, we said curl wasn't good. We used... I wonder if it's the encoding. I never know what needs to be encoded and what doesn't. But I think this is wrong. Yeah. Don't encode the URL. I guess this may be like a little bit expensive to use AMP code for this, but who knows? All right, while we're at it, I'm going to investigate why search.go and search.go seems to only hit archive. I want it to run across archive, Crossref, and Alex. All right, that's better. I mean, it's not better, but whatever. Why is it searching like this? I gave it paths. Sometimes these models just like, I don't know, man. All right. So where were we? However, we did start doing a research on re-ranking, right? So below is a field guide level overview you can lean on when wiring a retrieve deduplicate re-rank surface to result loop. Initial retrieval, fast but shallow, brings back many hits, mixed quality, DOI collapse, fuzzy title match, embedding similarity clustering. I don't think we can do embedding similarity clustering here. Cross encoder or LLM scoring on the top end candidates. All right, post-processing rules must have PDF metadata, re-ranker model options, Cohere re-rank, cross encoder, Pinecone hosted, tuned for doc search, zero ops, BGE re-ranker v2m3, runs under ONNX, GGUF or Hugging Face inference, cross encoder fine-tuned for science, self-host via Docker, LLM as Radar. Context length, yeah, whatever. Best one. This is, I mean, since we're in an MCP, this is going to happen at the top anyway. Small team, many languages on-prem, BGE re-ranker, duplicate detection tactic, collapse by DOI, putting it together in Go. So I wonder, write short Python script to test with BGE re-ranker so I can test things. Make up some mock input data. just to see what goes, and then we can use the results here and then dedupe them and with the Python script. So because it has -s source. Oh, and then I could do like all of them. Okay. And so in the meantime, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens here, right? So this kind of worked, the different results. And the search.go, it's like interesting. I thought this would be like structured data, but I guess not. Search command is still a Cobra command, okay. And these, however, are all glazed commands. So we're gonna add glazed to the add folder to workspace, because this has an interesting document that I need. And then I'm going to, nope, waiting for approval, rewrite search.go to be a glazed command, C15 using commands, and archive.go. That way we have structured data output. Then we're going to add an opportunity, which per default is to have all as a choice. And then we're going to test it again. In the meantime, quick and dirty, run BG re-ranker using Hugging Face on a mock query, torch device, CUDA, CPU, more mock query. So we're going to see if this works right off the bat. We're going to go into LLMs. I don't know if I have like a MISC nonsense here. Actually, we're going to go into labs, commands, experiments. What is in here? Okay. Experiments is here, and then we're going to delete this. Re-ranker test. And then here we're going to do cat Python version. There's no Python version, which pyenv versions, pyenv local. I use one of those. And now we're going to go into command experiments, and we're going to make a scientific re-ranker. Scientific re-ranker.py. Oops. Here we go. And then we're gonna link the query over here. Oh, yo, where am I? Oh, I'm here. Okay. There we go. All right, it's downloading. It's downloading the model. 2 GB. Sweet. Big ass re-ranker. I don't know how big re-rankers are actually. All right, we had more things open here, huh? So this is still like going, and we're gonna test this on our own. Go run log level debug, GP add error undefined, search.go. Where does that come from as a hallucination? That's interesting. GP add error? No. I'm gonna do accept all. Can I accept this file? Okay. And then strings A to I. Yeah, this is the model context window going too long, I think, that it starts hallucinating that kind of stuff. We'll see, but I suspect this is around 80K. Does it show me the size? Come on. Often it takes like a little bit. So the re-ranker is over there. We're going to look at this in a second. And so if I do this over here, we do get all of this output as YAML, right? With this structure. All right, this is pretty sweet, actually. Can we do from year 2005 to year 2010? Is this true? Holy shit, it works. Holy shit, it does work. So great. So this is full at this point, and it doesn't tell us how much. But I suspect if I switch to max now, it will actually work again. But I don't care. Just going to go back here, and I'm going to use 3.5 Sonnet, and it's like add an option all for the sources and up and get all the results, and add a source column to the output. Make it a string list parameter, which converts to string. I guess I could add documents here. Update. Yeah, and then we'll just see what goes. All right, well, this is awesome. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to add the labs folder to the workspace. We're going to open our scientific re-rank, or PY, right? And oh, it should be a choice list. Choice list, and with choices. Nice. Is it going to fix the error or not? No, it's not, because that disabled link fixing. I think the tab completion might get it. No, not fully. So the default here with default string archive all. And so if we do, shall we do all already? Crossref parsed error search failed for provider OpenAlex. OpenAlex API request failed with status 403. So that might be because OpenAlex error code 403 is because I don't provide like an email or something like that. If you're requesting a legal ID, the query will fail and you'll get a 403 error. So the OpenAlex, so we're going to just use SOpenAlex. Yeah, and we're going to do all of that. And we're going to put in here, search for proper API information and what might be going wrong. I think this is the URL encoding again. And then if we use Crossref works, right? And does it say source name Crossref? Okay, that's cool. Go wrong. Actually, I know what goes wrong. I think it's the URL encoding in OpenAlex client.go. Or maybe it's in the query DSL, I don't know. So we're making progress. This is pretty good. I should have reboosted this on X, huh? That's why no one's coming actually. I should have done this. There we go. I guess I'm shown as live, but like what the heck? I fail at social media so bad. Also, I really don't enjoy it, to be honest. Come join us, build some scientific research MCPs. And there we go. Not that this is going to help very much. Let me update the search command to properly set the filters. What does that even mean? Let's try running this again. Okay. Request open Alex API. Doesn't seem to have fixed it, huh? So let me just decode this and run this. LM Unix 6 decode. Okay. 403 forbidden. So what I wonder is 403 forbidden. Author search. Is it the author search that's the one thing that was flagged before as something that might not work? Search equal to Schmidt Huber. How weird. Filter. Do we have a document about the Open Alex API, or was it for something else? OpenAlex.md. Oh yeah, so make sure it matches 03 because I mean, we can get this, huh? Can I copy paste this? Wait, where am I? Oh, there I am. I still get. All right. I hope this is right. And so what's our mail to argument? Do we have that? I think we should hard code it. Where is this? In client.go? Add to mail to. Oh yeah, it's adding the mail to address. So that's nice. Alrighty, righty. We're going to try running the command again. Open Alex API failed with status. I don't know, it's weird. Works, entity ID, external ID, select fields, API entities, works. filter search for works. Look at, and then what is the filter? What is the filter versus search? Filter parameter, works attributes filter, and then also look at, oh, we first need to find the OpenAlex ID and then use that ID to filter all of that. So that's interesting. It's display name. Okay. Holy fucking shit. Oh, it's in the query DSL. I should have told it. All right, like if I was on my own and wasn't on stream, I would probably take a break and go for a walk. But we made quite some progress, right? Like we have the re-ranker, and I do kind of want to get the OpenAlex stuff. It seems very, very in reach, and indeed it is in reach. Except that the display name, I think, is not what we're looking for. I think the display name, see here, display name dot search. Yeah, the display name is not what I want, right? Author. Why can't I search a related author by that? You need to search for a more filter to get the works. Okay, so you do need to look up the author IDs in a separate call instead of using display name, which is just for the works. Display name. See. And you know what? I'm going to switch to Gemini 2.5 Pro Max and just have it like work a little bit. Update the client, query DSL as needed. I'll let it do its choice because I don't know. I don't want to do a query and dequery DSL. Like I don't want to hit an endpoint in there. So this has to be done on the client side. So we'll see. And then like, I don't know if I want to cache that or not. We'll see. I'm stuck. Touch grass. Found author ID. Okay. And then requesting OpenAI filter author.id. Looking like this. So that seems pretty good so far. But is it the right one? Authorships author ID. Alias author ID. So right, like is it missing the mail too? Like what is it in here? So again, we're going to decode this. Fuck, what is that? Must include a search query such as shirt example in order to sort by relevant score. Okay, so the thing we're going to do here is like it's not printing out the search failed, the output of the search. So that is, if we had done that, we would have found the issue right from the beginning, right? So what we're going to do is in search.go, and where is this? Package solidly search.go and all other clients in archive, etc. Make sure that we print out the HTTP body when there is an error code using log debug or log warn. Warn for the code and log debug for the body so that we can better debug. So that's going to be I should have noticed this, like any kind of text that will help the model give a better response, right? And like here, it would immediately have known what this is about, because suddenly it needs a search or a filter with a search in order to sort by relevance score. So that will help it do the query DSL compiler should be able to take that into account. If there's no search, then we don't want to sort by relevance and have it do have it handle that. So we'll see our context is getting large, but I think we should be good, because I think it's computing this based on the starting model that we used. We should be around 60,000 tokens, I think. Why does it sometimes show me the token count and sometimes not? So, okay, I've read make HTTP request in common. Oh, we did have a wrapper. That's pretty cool. So accept all, and then I think if we do run our query again, go mod file not found in the current one. Okay. If we run this again here, it will tell us nothing. How many tokens? Like usually it shows me. Yeah, 60,000 tokens is what I said. 55,000. I'm pretty good at this. All right. Also fix, say, open alex client.go, because we still get. Right, and then I'm actually going to do with caller, because now we do get the line number. Do we? Yeah, we do get the line number, which really helps the model as well. To have the file names in there, to have the line number, really helps it like debug and dig in on stuff. So, all right. I should have, again, noticed that earlier, that probably in the HTTP response, there's information. So I'm curious to see what it will do with the query DSL. Again, I haven't had the time to really dig into this in depth, so I'm kind of guessing what it's doing. But yeah, see, it's exactly what I said it would do. It's just like if sort was already set to open Alex from raw query, don't override. But otherwise, modify that. So we'll see the changes it's going to do. Did it actually contain the error code in here? Why does it know that suddenly it needs to do the reference score thingy? Oh yeah, it did print out the error body, huh? So I guess that was already done. I don't know what's doing then, all this thinking. Yeah, see, now it has, that's the important part, is like now it has picked up, and especially in the reasoning, it will pick this up. And I did all this research before, so it knows about which code it's talking about. Fills this with like a significant amount of tokens, right? Like I think after this, we're going to be at like 75,000 tokens, maybe, after all this thinking. So it's really, really wasteful, but also it's really, really useful. And I wonder if I could have like one-shot all of this with O3. I should use O3 more in Cursor, but the thing is there's zero feedback. So it's really hard to kind of determine, nice, now it works. This is sick. Excellent. All right, 75,000 tokens. Did it waste like 20,000 on this? I guess we have to wait a little bit until like the token usage comes back. But I think now is like maybe a good time to commit. Like you see, I don't commit nearly enough because how much do we have now? cached stat 900 lines. I thought this would have been more. 20,000 tokens, 65. Okay, well, it was only 10,000 tokens, so my bad. All right. So sparkles make a nice search verb and fill out the query DSL. So the thing with the query DSL is that obviously we need to do much more testing, right? Because we actually don't know if all the filters work correctly and all of that. So that's stuff that I'm not going to do tonight, but maybe I should, right? Like if this is a tool that I'm going to use for research and tomorrow I will have forgotten that I built it, then maybe now's the time to like fix all of this stuff. But on the other hand, I just kind of want to load this up now and play with it, to be honest. Less intelligence than max, twice the requests. No, I don't want auto select. I just want to turn off the thinking. I actually also don't want this. I don't. There we go. So we have the search word thing, right? Like we have all these other verbs that were not fully working, like DOI was returning the wrong thing. So maybe now that we have more info and we have this query DSL and more information about all of it, we can like actually do a little bit more damage. Right now, I'm just letting the model fix the linting errors. Hopefully we'll get all of those. And I've been streaming for 2 hours. So maybe now I'll load this into the MCP and we'll see how far it goes. I should do the prompt engineering on the MCP now, which is going to be interesting. So we have the scholarly Go thing here. And then in terms of the strings here, this is actually kind of, we can adapt this to be using the query DSL now. All right, so because this is using, where's the tool with handler here? Register search works tools. And then here it has this handler, and then it does it do a search works request, and then search works. Where is that implemented? This is under search works. So we're going to delete this search works thing, and we're going to replace it with search. And maybe I'll use mcode to do this. So I'm going to say we implemented a new search.go. Where is it? Oh, yeah. To go along with query DSL and has a CLI front end search.go. So here I'm giving it like a pretty precise set of things because it is like kind of a subtle thing to do maybe. So I really want to make sure that it has like a little bit better understanding. This replaces the existing search works.go, which can be eliminated. I want to now also use the new query DSL backed search in my MCP tool for LLM tool calling in scholarly.go, right? Make a new JSON schema for the tool call and use, and we're gonna let it do this at first, and then I'll ask it to do some prompt engineering on the tool, and then we'll just test out this MCP and I'll call it a night. Because I'm streaming tomorrow at 9 a.m. and tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm going to be working on, I don't even know, I prepared a stream banner. I don't remember what I chose as a topic. So tomorrow we're gonna do why did I, yeah, a semantic chunking engine, I guess, is what I wanted to do tomorrow. Why did I think that that was so important? I had like an idea behind this, but now I forgot. Besides just curiosity, because I don't think it's actually all that important. What's more important is the Blender MCP video editor that I wanted to do. So maybe I'll pivot again. This is the problem with like ADHD is like I thought this was like the coolest idea ever 3 hours ago, and I don't remember why. There was like something I wanted to do with chunking a document. Oh, I think it was chunking documents to extract flashcards, because I thought that would be like a great business idea. Yeah, whatever. That's why I try to. This is really troublesome with like impulse buying. I'll be like, this is the coolest book ever, and then I'll buy the book and I'll be like, I don't even remember why I thought this was like interesting. All right, so now we have all these properties here, which is great, which is exactly kind of what I wanted. And it's converting things to works. It's outputting them as JSON. It's the new Scholarly. It will probably do a move, which that I really appreciate. It's probably in its system prompt. When it creates like a new version of a file, it uses a new file name and then it does a move to erase the previous one. That I think helps a lot with keeping paths a little bit clean. Although this thing still like struggles quite a bit with paths. I think every time it's like red, it's like, wrong path. So I don't know what's up with all these models, like honestly. I wonder if the tool underneath like kind of says, look, you have like different options for the path, because like you could do some fuzzy matching, right? I don't know. I'll learn more about tool call prompting. I mean, that's exactly why I'm doing this, and then we'll see it. Did this fix the lints, by the way? Holy shit, it destroyed. Oh no, because it's working right now. This is the problem of having like 3 agents at once on the code base. I should have committed before, like I'm an idiot. Because the thing about AMP code is you can't easily rewind. That's why I wanted to do a git commit in the first place. Because if it now fucks shit up, I can't actually undo it. I can, because some part is staged and some part is not staged, right? So that kind of saves me. But still, it's like a little bit playing with the devil. I still have like local history turned on as well, which would help, right? Like there's a little tab down here, local history, that I can use to browse the local history. It's quite useful. Recommend turning it on. So now it's doing all of its stuff. Yeah, this is like, it's weird that it's so much of a stretch in what it does. Because it should know the packages quite well. They're like pretty explicitly mentioned, not only in the previous scholarly.go. I'm kind of starting to get worried now in terms of what it's doing. It's removing the new file. Like, what is it doing here? This is weird. This is like the kind of stuff that I'm always like a little bit worried about. All of these tools is like, why is it suddenly adding this like package definition everywhere when like resolve DOI request was see, it's under scholarly. So that was a bad decision, and now it's recreating models in a different file. Like it's really losing the plot now. And I better stop it, because it's going to rewrite everything in terms of the wrong package, right? And so sadly, I can't easily rewind, as I said. But so I want to see, so LM Unix, how do I stash only either the staged or unstaged diffs. And hopefully I get this right. For stage changed only, you can also name for unstaged changes only, we're going to stash the unchanged stages, right? And then can I stash an unadded file? Actually, I don't even care about this file here. So that was a big boo-boo. And the reason it's a big boo-boo is that I have 2 folders that are called the same, and that's like kind of a no-no. I saw it earlier and I should have reacted to it. But however, now we lost our linting fixes because those were unstaged. So whatever, I'm going to commit because add nice search query DSL verb. And because, so if you see what confused it, if I go into the package, there's a scholarly, and then there's a subfolder called scholarly again, right? And this thing has all these like models and resolve DOI, and so it's kind of a good question what we're going to call it. And because I don't want to use models to rename files and move packages because that's completely stupid, but also because VS Code is not good at that stuff, I'm going to use Golang and do the package renaming in there. Close all tabs. Yes, please close it. And so if we look at this project, we're gonna open, we're gonna go into recent projects, corporate. All right, open a folder. Code, Basin, corporate headquarters. This window. And we're gonna close all of this. Close all of this. We're gonna open, what was it called? Searchworks. Scholarly. We're gonna ignore the history. Ignore, mark as excluded. There we go. And so now comes the nice thing, right? Which is we're in Scholarly here. And then maybe I'm going to make a folder called clients. So new folder, clients. I'm going to move Crossref, LibGen, OpenAlex, Scholarly, Archive. So those are all clients. Right? And so this thing is going to update all the package names, all of that stuff, which in this case doesn't fully matter. Then we're going to make a folder called tools. And then we're going to move these tools over there, right? Oops. And then we're going to move models to common. So this has search results, and then this has works. So we're going to rename just the file name so that it doesn't get confused. And we're going to merge it over here, and then we can merge the 2 files. And this stuff, like this is why IDEs are still great, right? Like this kind of deterministic stuff is really cool. And so this we're going to actually call, we're going to make a package called MCP. And actually we're going to take the Scholarly tools and we're going to move this to MCP. And then search is our new search tool. We're going to move it there. Search is a name that's going to appear everywhere, but since we're moving the symbol, it's actually going to be able to do it pretty easily. And then this stuff can, whoops, this stuff can now go into the into the models file, and then we can delete this. All right. So we should now have a much better cleaned up version. And here we still have the search works part, right? So we have to redo what had been created previously. And since the work has already been done, I'm not sure if I want to redo that work or if I want to still like use what we had before, which is we have this new like scholarly tool, right? Like this new MCP stuff. And it has like a bunch of interesting stuff in there. Build search options, build all of this. So I think this code is probably pretty good. And I don't know if I can copy it. Let's see. Let's see if I go in here and then I'm search and then I'm an MCP and I'm going to do a new MCP2 just for kicks. And I'm going to paste. No, so this was the wrong. Jesus, what is going on with the VI keys? So we're gonna. Oh, it's all in the diff format. Whatever. All right, so we're here, and then we're going to everything that starts from the beginning and goes to a plus sign. Oh, that didn't work. So everything from the beginning that goes to a plus sign. Wait, why does this not work? Plus sign. All right, well, S plus. All right, but so. All right, so, okay, so I don't need to escape the plus. So we're going to redo this and then dot star. All right. And it's failing over here because there is already a research this. And then we probably do need to. Because there is already in Scholarly 1, there is already a register search works tool, right? Which we are removing now. Because we decided that the search works didn't really work, and then we got rid of it. So now MCP2 is working nicely, and then the only thing we need to do is, this is probably under tools.search. Why doesn't it not like look this up? That's annoying. Because it is definitely in the package tools, right? And I don't have a tab complete. So this is stuff that's now easier to do in Cursor. Because, oh yeah, it's the wrong tools. So this is going to be Scholarly tools. And yeah, actually this was the right path. So this is Scholarly tools. No. Scholarly tools. Oh, it deleted it already. I hate this shit. All right. The search works response, is that also in Scholarly tools? Search, it's probably in common, huh? Type, yeah, it's in common. This is where like really you can waste your time, right? Like probably I'm a little bit rabbit holed here because I'm on stream. This might have been like very much a thing where properly starting is like a good way, is like a better way of doing things. So the source name, I'm not sure what the source name is supposed to be. I guess it's that, right? And then here it does it have like the citations and all of that? So this is where fill out, convert to works, this is what it was missing because it wasn't finding the right part. The based on common models.go and yeah. Fill out convert works based on models.go. And yeah, this is a typical example of like your file names are really, really important. The time it takes me to fix this nonsense. Otherwise, we would already have like been moving on with the prompt engineering and doing all of this. So really, really crucial to pay attention to file path, which I didn't do. So do as I say, not as I do. We have better results now, and we're going to see what comes out, huh? So what is the result? It's a search result here. We do want to have more search results than that, right? Like the common work, the outputting this, convert to works. Why do we even need that now that we have the new thing here? We actually don't need the search works results. Where is work used anyway otherwise? It's used in resolve DOI. All right, so we're going to update this to have its own response and models for the results, search result, because we actually want to delete the legacy search works. So I probably should have deleted search works before anyway, and you know, written like a markdown file out of it, maybe use, because it had like the JSON schema already, but the search result already exists, right? So yeah, maybe I'll keep it like separate though. No, I shouldn't. Well, we'll accept like just use the already defined search result from the other package, because I don't remember in which package it's in. Yeah, it's already in common anyway, so that's great. All right, cool. So we should now have like a pretty nice MCP2 thingy, which we can rename, right? So we can rename this to search MCP tool. The models.go we don't need, right? Oh, we need it for the search response. No, I don't want to undo this. I want to undo the deletion. So we don't need the search result. We do need the search response. All right, so that's cool. And sweet. So that means it does get registered here, right? So we're gonna rename this to register. And then, am I lazy? Am I not lazy? Because I could move these to their individual files, but I am lazy. So I'm just going to do split register.go out into one file per tool, like search mcptool.go. And we're going to let Sonnet do it. And in the meantime, well, I guess I should have run it once by hand and gotten the output YAML, because I do want to now modify the Python script we were working on to take that YAML and do the re-ranking. But we don't, so. And maybe I should just load it as an MCP, but that will do. Once we're done with this, we'll be able to run it. Unless it's removing the comments, like your little sneaky thing. But yeah, I guess now we just have to wait until this is over. And my brain's starting to give out. I've been coding a lot today. So I'm not sure what I actually want to talk about. What we're going to do tomorrow is I actually generated a book, which is Blender Python for scripting for video editing. I made a cover for it as well. This is the beautiful book that I created, Blender Python API for editing videos. So it's a very, very neat niche book. It's like basically a book only for me. And here's the book, which I had deep research to. And so we're going to work on this tomorrow, which is use one of the Blender MCPs that basically just beams Python over to Blender, use that to process this book into functions to make sure that they work, right? And then also to package them into new functions that I will actually then not expose as, well, bundle with the MCP so that there's a whole new API to build scripts in Blender that will make it easier instead of using the low level stuff, right? Like the low level stuff is pretty hallucinatory prone because it is a pretty complex object model and it is sounding similar to many other APIs, I think. And it has like things called like context and scene and editor and frame and clip and gain and all of these things, which are, however, you have to be really precise in how they work. Like, is the frame count like, is this an FPS or is this a timestamp? Like all of these things can be pretty sneaky to get right. So I want to put some APIs in front that take a DSL that will make it like much, much harder to do the wrong thing. And so I think I still need to do the deletion of all of this by myself, right? So beyond these initial things here, so truncate text, I guess we can remove. And then we can remove these guys, probably. And so does that fix this stuff? Yeah, it fixes everything. Cool. It still marks an error. Can remove this folder. Did I move something around? Did just like a folder just disappear? No. So I think now we have a pretty clean thing. I don't know what example is. It's just a DSL example. Goodbye. Now we have a pretty clean package structure that matches the directory structure as well. Here we can probably do something a little bit more elegant as well, but I'll do that another time. And I guess now we can try it out. So we can do go run command scholarly search, which should still work or not. Unknown flag author. Wait. Wait, I thought we had used the query DSL for this. Did it destruct itself? Local history in the last hour? Yeah, man, this was like a big mistake to not commit. Like, yeah, you can see the difference. So this is the search word before. And so, yeah, so here it got like kind of when I stashed it, maybe, because now it's back to this. So I'm just gonna revert it to here, huh? Restore. And so now we should have all the verbs again. So let's try it out. Go get package scholarly. To added search.go. But it does exist. Line 16. So scholarly search options. Oh yeah, because we renamed the packages, huh? Does this work? Nice. Let's use this one here. Unknown flag source. Unknown flag source. Dash dash source says. Okay. Huh? Oh, it's because I still have the help. All right, cool. Output YAML. All right, cool. Now we're going to do sources all. Great. That's a lot of data. And I guess now is the time to commit, huh? Go format. This time we will commit correctly. And then we're going to add command, and then we're not going to run the hooks just yet. Reorganize all the files and restore search.go. And I think we can delete searchworks now because it's unused. Remove all searchworks. And we can do some prompt engineering now, maybe. Why is the mock? Where's the mock? Add something else. Oh my God, where is the vibes folder? So left hook. Actually, those are not really much to fix, huh? Search.go 177. Is that? No. Like this. And query dsl.go. Switch queue sort, missing cases, sort relevance. Case, sort relevance. Fall through? Yeah. And 1 to 1. Same thing. Actually, why am I doing this in Golang? No, this was query dsl.go, huh? 212. No. Query dsl.go. Which line? 121, not 212. There. Is that right? I don't think it does anything here. And then we have 1 to 1. I'm not going to change behavior. 157, which is here. And then we can do this. So hopefully this lints now in its entirety. Almost. Missing case switches in 147.go and search.go. What was the one here? Oh no, fall through. There we go. Can't run linter, go analysis meta linter, could not load export data, no export data for. The heck is that? What does that even mean? Scholarly, because that doesn't exist anymore, my dear. Packet scholarly search, search.go. Search.go, why are you broken? I thought you compiled. What happened? Return value of... Did this revert? Because I just fixed that one. That is so weird. It's time to go to bed. All right, and then 147. No, it is here. Which one's still missing? Sort relevance? Yeah, is it right here? Like, what is missing? Case and switch of type query DSL sort relevance. Is it the fall through? What the fuck? Oh, I'm editing the wrong file. Look at that. Look at that. Search.go 147. No. Fall through. All right, cool. Fire, remove all search works. Git push. Actually, git push. And then what we're going to do is we're going to install it. That didn't work. Cool. So if we go in here, right, and we have our MCP servers, and we reload this, we now have all these tools which got re-enabled, which I'm going to, all right, let's say search for Schmidt-Huber 2005. So it's calling search works. This is sick, bro. I do want the output in YAML though. All right, this is fucking sick. Get links for all of them. All right, this works way better than the one I had before, right? But however, most of these now don't take batches of strings, I think. Oh no, it does. Error finding full text for paper, could not find using any available source, which is weird because it was able to find the previous one, right? Like the find full text, because it had the DOI number, original query intent. Interesting. Why was it not able to get those? Oh no, it does. No, it didn't, huh? So we kind of do want to have debug logging, but this is the stuff that I wanted to debug last time. You can see here I have a debug log. And so hopefully this is where if you go look and you do this again, I don't know if you can call this again. Try again. Try the tool call again. And then we'll kind of maybe see what happens. Please use your own email and API calls. See on paywall, blah, 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 blah. Because this is stuff that I would like to feedback, right? It's like handle tool call, scholarly, find full text, stop, and then it says full, use your own email and API calls. So we do want to have the email and the API calls. So we're going to add that. Just see, because the full text would be nice to have. We're going to open a new conversation. And then we say for on paywall. Is there like a folder? Where is the on paywall part? Try on paywall first. Find full text on paywall. And then find full text open Alex is its own little function here. That should move to the clients, to the appropriate clients, huh? All right. For unpaywall, add the email to the body for unpaywall. For now, just going to be hard code to manual@vlorig.net. Actually, there's something I want to edit in the MCP. In cursor and then scholarly, and here I'm going to add with caller. Isn't that a nice little UI to configure my MCP servers? I'm very proud of it. I didn't build it. Gemini did. Use emphasis, yada, yada, yada. Because it says in the body, huh? Well, let's try. Let's try see what happens. So pkill restart. And then here we can go to the MCPs. It has been reinstalled. We can reload it. And then we can go over here, try tool calling again. All right, and now unpaywall works, huh? Now it's doing it like step by step. So there's this weird with the DOI that's underscored. Try the DOIs without underscore. I don't know if that's like the issue. But it does find them on Sci-Hub, huh? I think those are books. That's why they're not on OpenAlex. Yeah, so the citations, I think, don't work. DOI not found. It's funny that this has been found through libgen. So what we're going to do is going to open a new chat. Going to say find citations. All right, but this is sweet. This is actually working better than I thought it would. Fail to resolve open. This is weird, man. This is, I don't know if this is the DOI format for, I don't know what this is. It's probably something on my side, right? Because if open Alex, and then if I just paste this, right, like it's able to find it. And so there's something weird going on here, which is if I go to MCP again, and then I'm gonna go build this as local bin scholarly, right? And then I can do scholarly search DOI. It doesn't have the DOI. Scholarly, open Alex. doesn't have query or filter. Query scholarly DOI. DOI-I this. Here it gets it. No, where did it get it from? Source name crossref. So why is the DOI here not working on OpenAlex? Because how do I navigate this? What is this? Where do I see all the metadata? You're an API. Oh, this is just a name. IDs, OpenAlex. So it uses the ID, the OpenAlex ID, but not the DOI. OpenAlex DOI, because we had a whole resource on this, right? OpenAlex.md. No, wrong file. OpenAlex ID metrics. And if we look at this, it was works.doi.org HTTPS. So I'm going to try that. It says curl HTTPS API OpenAlex.org works. Oh no, so it's like straight up. Yeah, works HTTPS doi.org. And then this. So that works. And then I suspect that the DOI tool looks it up like this. All right, so I'm going to say, how does the doi.org .go file tool work? So it takes the query, initialize stack common resolve DOI request, then it's going to call the tool, and then the tool is going to do get OpenAlex data, and it's going to do the string prefix. It's going to debug the log requesting work from OpenAlex. So this is going to be interesting. Log level debug with caller, and it's doing the encoding. We shouldn't encode the parameters. The correct is for OpenAlex. No. It's funny, it was primed for like tool calling, huh? So it seems that the prompt engineering is kind of enough so far. So I'll leave that for tomorrow or for another day to really dig in as I do some scientific research to see how far I can push it, right? So I'm sure there's tools. Like if I start asking it to do some kind of agent stuff right now, I'm really curious about what's going to come out. And then maybe that's like the thing to do before we go to bed is just start doing like some kind of nice research, right? So I'm going to reinstall this, reopen the MCP, right? MCP, you need to reload. And then I want to find Schmidt-Huber's area of research in the early 90s. So citations was the other one that wasn't working, right? It's probably the same issue with the citations. So if I run the citations thing, citations, and then you give it a ID, log level debug with caller, and we'll probably see the same exact pattern. API openalex.com, and I think it shouldn't be encoding the string. Because I think if we decode this, decode, all right, and then if we take this, oh, come on. Oh my God. And we do curl, 0 citations, page 1. And I wonder if we can search per page, search works, API, open. Open Alex citations for DOI. What is it doing here? Is it just like, should we do it like this? Yeah, I think that's how we do it, huh? All right, so we'll fix that one as well. Citations.go, because that's a useful one. And citations.go uses the tool get citations. And so we're going to fix this. Don't encode the URL and use works/DOI. Whoops. And it's weird that they're not using the client, but that's probably because I used agents. So get metrics is also going to hit OpenAlex. Yeah. So we'll see about the metrics. So let's see about this guy. Go run citations with caller. No citations found in work. You still create this. Okay, so it's doing the client stuff, which is nice. Like that's the Sonnet 3.5 that I like. It does like nice little touches but stays local. Doesn't decide to like use a different pattern or something like that. And then, well, let's test the metrics while we're at it. So I think, oops, metrics. The work ID can either be ID, can be this. With caller log level debug. Yeah, what is this? So it shouldn't fail either here, huh? Because it already got one result. So fix this as well. And also if one of the queries fails and you still have results, return that. Well, this shouldn't really change too much, huh? What is it doing here? All right, well, yeah, why not? That's like a little Sonnet touch. So go run citations with color. No citations found. Why does it still doing this fucking thing here with the broken query string? Why is it doing this like weird ass thing? This is weird and fucked. I think this was the change that it just did at the end here. Like this is odd. Uh, 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 yeah, I'm not sure what this is about here. Still not? Why does it do this like weird citations as well? Slash like works. Else. Where does this come from? Yeah, so I'm gonna say like this is actually broken. What is it doing the DOI call actually? Where is it getting that one from? Yeah, so I'm gonna add some more debugging. Also add some debug logging to open Alex client. And I don't know if I should have done this by hand or not. Maybe. Maybe, who knows? Did I just kill the query? What, how did that happen? All right, there. Debug logging is always good. That's also something I should have probably like added more of early on. Oh shit, we're at 3 hours. All right, last try, and then I'm not sure if cited by is the thing, but yeah, it does. It did work. Raw response body, citations response total results false. So, what went wrong here? Why 0 results here? Decode the JSON. I'm being lazy. Like, why am I letting a LLM output the JSON for this? Okay, well, the cited by open Alex cited by, this needs some more grounding. Work object. Cited by value, the open returns works found in the given works referenced works. You can give this as a what is this slash cited by? All right, cool. This is sick. Sick. So no, this is more like a bug fix, huh? Fix DOI and citations. So we're going to try metrics now. Actually, this is pretty easy to fix, huh? Client.go and open Alex and then 289. Because we don't need the ID. Guess not. All right, so let's do the metrics. So good, so good, but it's not using structured output. Metrics.go, and this is still a Cobra command. Make metrics. Who's still a Cobra command here, by the way? Cobra command. Metrics keywords. Okay, make metrics and keywords.go be glazed commands like doi.go, C15 commands. There we go. All right, so total to do all of this is probably going to be around 6-7 hours. Yeah, that's more than I thought it would be. Yeah, it's more than I thought it would be, but it's still pretty bad. It's still pretty good. Sorry. So we're here, and then package scholarly is the other one. We're at 6,000 lines of Go. Not too bad. But I thought it would have gone like faster. So I wonder why it loves doing this like parameter error. It loves like hallucinating error functions today, which I've never really seen before, but this is an old model. So, all right, let's try it out again. Metrics, undefined new parameter error. Yeah, it's the second time tonight that it like did that. So that's funny. Come on, autocomplete, tap complete. No. All right, nice. Now we have structured data, right? We have this. All right, cool. And now we can pkill, install it. And did we do a research? Like we launched something, right? Schmidt-Hoover's research focus. Okay. So what else could we do here? Give me a nice link list for downloading and reading more. Oh, I didn't restart the MCP, did I? Yeah, that's why it failed. All right, let's go. I wonder if the name clashes. No, their namespace, right? Could I put scholarly underscore in each of them? But it probably doesn't matter. So what did it search? Actually find full text, and it found the full text of all those three. And then it gave me the Sci-Hub URLs and then one of the source URLs. That's pretty cool. The web search is like, it's not going to give you the PDFs, huh? All right, cool. But like, I do have something that's pretty cool to get citations, but also cited by. Actually, I wonder if that's doing the cited by as well. Failed to get citations. So if we do get citations here, get reference works, get cited works. So request direction is going to be, the request direction is the source file here. So that's pretty cool. And then the flag for that is, where's the flag defined? It's cited by or, all right, so this is a parameter choice. And then here, parameter with choices. And then there we go. Cited by or refs. Yo. That's why I built MCP tools. What are you doing? Don't use the web. And what's the MCP situation over here? Wait, what did I call it? The package scholarly MCP register. And so if we register the citations tool, what parameter does it have? It has the directions. All right. I guess this thing is like Borg, huh? Give me nice links for reading more, get works cited, and give me the most important as well. Most important. So did it call refs? No, direction cited by. All right, cool. Which works does Schmidt-Huber seem to cite across this research of the early 90s? Man, this is sick. I mean, I should have used Sci-Hub. So did it call res? Direction references? Okay, so it shouldn't be, so here the direction cited by references. Okay, so we should be either refs or references. So yeah, no, that's no good here. So we're gonna retry. And then the search tool is don't use that one for citations, right? Like that's other engineering that should be done here, which is, I guess, is mostly also stuff that you find out by doing this multiple times. Don't use this tool to find citations or cited works. Use the citations tool. So that's interesting because that means for like MCP, when you have a collection of tools, I don't necessarily want to put that into individual tools, right? Like if I turn them on and off, if I turn off the citations tool, but I have a reference to it here, that's not good. Like it would be nice to have in my MCP server the ability to dynamically add and remove stuff from my MCP tool description, right? To allow me to be more flexible in terms of what I present. So that's pretty cool. Get citations this time around. It did like direction references. Oh, because I need to reinstall, huh? So I'm going to reinstall this. And I'm going to restart. And I wonder if it's going to update that stuff here. Is it going to do the right thing now? Because it has like the new tool called definitions. No, it still doesn't have it. Must be either refs. Yeah, so now it's correcting it. Nice. Works not found in OpenAlex. All right, so that's the well-known issue that we have. And we'll look at this tomorrow. So I'm going to leave this open here. so that tomorrow I kind of maybe know where to start. Actually, I'm going to open the get citations tool, and I'm going to just paste this here so that it breaks. And then this is the query that we used. And it's nice to have the original intent, because then we can really use the re-ranking to do it. And if I was young and 20, I would probably spend the night doing this, but I am not. So yeah, this is really cool, because this will really help the re-ranking here. And it'll be the first time I use re-ranking, so that's going to be dope as well. All right, cool. Actually, before I commit this in the get citations, just gonna put this here. Fix the bug with OpenAlex client. I'm gonna commit all of this. Make citations and metrics work. We still have the keywords verb as well. The file is not properly formatted, so let's do that. And we're gonna push it. And that's gonna be a stream. Nice. All right, well, see you folks tomorrow at 9 a.m.